Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show here on Trade Deadline Day. I'm joined by Mike Gallagher, as always, to walk you through a tight little 4-game slate. One that keeps changing, though, with every new piece of trade information that we continue to get. There's more flying in now. There will be tons flying in for the next hour and a half or so. We will be back after this show at 3:30 Eastern with myself, Mike Gallagher, Mark Dankenbring, Justin Fan, all to talk trade deadline and deals. So you'll get our perspective on those deals then. We will keep it to the injuries and who's playing tonight on this show, keeping the content tight for the YouTube algorithm, as always. Mike, how are you on trade deadline day?
Doing good. Haven't left my desk. Haven't gotten changed from my playback show. Just rolled out of bed, started looking at news. That's how we do on deadline day. Maybe we could squeak in a little shower, but yeah, my shower will probably last in seconds, like the way the trades are getting done today.
We'll talk more trades at the 3:30 show. Let's get to the injury stuff. Let's start. We'll go game by game again today. A little bit easier to talk with trade context. Let's start with Denver. On the injury report for Denver tonight, Jamal Murray is listed questionable with right knee inflammation. Zeke Naji listed doubtful with that right shoulder sprain. They just traded Bones Highland, which is not a significant thing to the rotation because he has not been in the rotation. But Jamal Murray's absence certainly looms large potentially over this game, and the right knee inflammation is a concern. What are your thoughts on his availability tonight? And if he's unavailable to go, how do you expect Denver to line up?
Probably got a good chance he's going to go. Definitely seems like more of a maintenance thing according to Malone, so I think he should be back. And we got really unlucky, and I know you kind of jammed Bruce Brown in your DFS lineups too. He rolled his ankle, not injury report. We saw him returning pretty fine. Garbage time cut him down, but roll looked pretty good. So expect Murray back, and then we'll see. Usually the rest of the rotation kind of shake out as normal. But yeah, no more Bones. Only second picks, so definitely didn't get good value. A guy who was one of the hottest commodities.
Trade deadline show, Gallagher. Trade deadline.
Yeah, sorry.
Show.
Well, hey, we're talking about Denver. Hey, Denver's playing. Okay, cool.
Keep it to the rotation. We got a full.
Okay.
We got more content to kill on that front. All right. Orlando side of things. Gary Harris listed questionable. They're without Mo Bamba and Chuma Okeke. Once again, not a ton in terms of trade speculation that we think could potentially come up here. Gary Harris, who has that questionable tag, is probably the most likely. So we'll see if we see him or don't see him tonight. Your thoughts on how they would replace him if they were without Gary Harris, either for trade or injury tonight?
I mean, they would probably run a little bit bigger. We saw them. We'll see if Terrence Ross is out too. They could definitely, they've used Isaac as like even a 3 sometimes for defensive reasons and for even subs. So we'll just expect them to run bigger. We know they got a lot of bodies. We'll see if they bring in other players. But yeah, I'd be surprised if they, clear other guys out. So they're very much up in the air. But they would probably run a bigger lineup overall. We saw them start big early, but they've been running this Gary Harris starting lineup there. So I think they're comfortable going bigger.
Yeah, they certainly have been all season long with basically playing Paolo at the 3, Franz at the 2, insert like Bull or Mo Wagner or someone like that in the starting lineup. Essentially is kind of a way that they've gone throughout the season. It also, when we saw Gary Harris miss a game, I believe it was last week, we saw Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs minutes tick up as well a little bit. So it would provide more upside there as well for those guys. All right, let's move to Brooklyn, a team that is severely impacted by trades. As you all know by now, they traded Kevin Durant last night. They will not have any of the players available, Kevin Durant and TJ Warren. They will not have any of the players available from that trade tonight. It's possible that they're shipping more of those guys out in different deals. We've seen that today. We'll talk more about that on the trade deadline show. In terms of who they will have available tonight, Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, who they acquired in the Kyrie Irving trade, should be available. How does this affect Cam Thomas, who's been on an insane roll, 40 or more points in 3 straight games? How do you expect the rotation to shake out for Brooklyn tonight?
So I think the big question you ask yourself is who is starting among. Well, let's start with who we know is going to start. I feel pretty confident Dorian Finney-Smith's going to start. Pretty confident Spencer Dinwiddie is going to start. Pretty confident Nick Claxton's going to start. Fairly confident Ben Simmons is going to start. So you're left between, in my opinion, Royce O'Neal or Red Hot Cam Thomas. I don't know if you want to take Cam Thomas out of the starting lineup, That would be kind of messed up. So I kind of think Royce will come off the bench, or maybe Finney Smith comes off the bench. But I don't know if you could take Cam Thomas out of the starting lineup. I mean, guys, that's a 40-point streak. That would just be wrong to take him out. So yeah, I feel like Cam will be getting the starting lineup. But how do you feel about it? So I would pick the starting lineup of Ben, Cam, Dorian Finney-Smith, who else? Nick Claxton, and who am I leaving? Who am I leaving out? Joe? No.
So
Spencer. Yeah, Spencer. I
Simmons,
left Spencer Dinwiddie out. Yeah.
So as Chaos Offie notes, your audio I think is back to the AirPod, the death of AirPod once again. I think there's so many different iterations that they could start here, depending on how they kind of view Ben Simmons, whether they view him as a forward or whether they view him as a guard. Honestly, anybody that they, between Royce, Dinwiddie, even, I think it's even possible Dinwiddie doesn't start. Cam Thomas, like any of those guys are viable to not start for me. I think Claxton's a definite starter. I think Dorian Finney-Smith's a definite starter. I think Simmons is a definite starter. And then I'm not as sure as the last two. I think it could be any combination of Royce, Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas. The reason being when they had Dinwiddie before in Brooklyn, he was sort of a bench scorer that then moved into a bigger role over time. He came into the season, we thought he would be kind of the bench scorer. And I think Cam Thomas makes more sense for that role long term, but I just don't think you bench him now. So
yeah, I don't think so.
I could see Dinwiddie also moving to the bench as a possibility. But the new guys, it's easier to just say like, oh, we're just going to start you off the bench, like get your feet wet with the rotation and stuff like that. So I think there's probably a little bit more of a chance that Dinwiddie doesn't start than might normally be the case, just given the all this stuff.
I mean, they got to be the point guard. I just feel like I feel more confident in you there. So excluding Claxton, you think that Ben is the next most likely then?
Next most likely to start?
Yeah.
So I think yes. And the other thing that I'd note is like,
I feel like Spencer, him, and are pretty close to locks. Spencer, Ben.
Well, if you think, here's the other thing that I'd note. If you're looking at like who are the ball handlers on this roster, right? Now it's Spencer Dinwiddie and Ben Simmons, right? Cam Thomas can be that, but he's really more of a scorer. He's really more of a two than a ball handler. So, your backup guards with no Seth Curry are Patty Mills, not really a prototypical ball handler either, which is why I think there's a possibility that one of Simmons or Dinwiddie is either staggered really aggressively or starts out in the second unit.
I think it's most likely. I mean, they did it with Luke. They're going to basically steal Dallas's thing and bring him into a stagger role with. I think it makes the most sense. Right. And Ben's minutes going to be capped too, so
yeah.
I still think Dinwiddie's going to play a bunch. I mean, they need Dinwiddie to play a bunch, so I think he's going to play a ton.
Yeah, and
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good it's going to be the guys I said. Ben, Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas. I think Dorian Finney-Smith should start. I mean, he's really good. Well, but then again, this could all be moot. They could be trading more players, so
sure.
And then Claxton, obviously.
Okay, they're playing the Bulls. On the Bulls injury report, DeMar DeRozan is questionable here. Alex Caruso and Patrick Williams are both probable. The probable tag suggests that we will likely see them tonight. DeMar missed the last game. It was the second night of a back-to-back, so we thought it might be some combination of maintenance, but he is back on the injury report, questionable once again with this right hip soreness. There's trade deadlines rumors swirling around the Bulls and Zach LaVine, which from my vantage point, if you're a Bull, if you're the Bulls and you're moving Zach LaVine, you should just be moving everybody. But we'll see if there's anything that happens there. They're a team that plays a relatively tight rotation as is. We did see them play 9 guys against the Grizzlies last game, but things could get really tight here. There's been rumors around Andre Drummond as well. I don't know if there's much of a market for him. So what are your thoughts on DeMar DeRozan's availability tonight and how it would impact the Bulls?
Yeah, he got ruled out pretty early, so I think he's got a decent chance to miss. I mentioned this is the same hip that he hurt in 2018 when he got stretchered off the court, so pretty significant injury that could flare up. Joints like that could be issues down the line. So yeah, Don't know. Definitely keep an eye on Levine. I'll add. Wouldn't mind speculating adding Kobe White if you're in a season-long league. See if he kind of shakes loose. They would need scoring. So yeah, maybe the Bulls finally pull something off here. They're certainly in a bad spot. For us who have unders on him, let's clear the decks. Let's start fresh, Bulls, which they don't want to do, but we'll see.
They could be a team that we're attacking heavily tonight because they could be decimated. Yep. I mean, everybody on the roster has basically been in trade rumors at some point, shape, or form during the course of the season. This is not a deep team. So if DeRozan was unable to go, if there were more trades involving like Caruso or Levine, Vucevic, Dragic, whoever, this team could get down to like silly business with only like 7 or 8 guys available. So just be prepared. Obviously, the trade deadline is at 3, so we'll know well in advance of lock time tonight. We'll talk about all this stuff on the DFS show, but be prepared. This is the team you might be targeting tonight. And if you're looking in like the props market or different things, and you're thinking of like unders on a team like this, be very careful, very careful, because they could end up extremely shorthanded, much more than you're anticipating. Okay, let's move to the Hawks. The Hawks don't have any big injuries on the injury report there, but they just made a trade to get Saddiq Bey that immediately, it was a 3-team deal with Detroit and Golden State. Immediately, I think everybody's reaction is John Collins going to Golden State. It is.
Oh, that was your mic. Can't hear you.
You can't.
There you go.
Am I good?
I think you cut out. You're good now. Yep.
So strange.
You're talking about John Collins.
Okay. John Collins. So we think John Collins is still on the Hawks, and if so, still available tonight. And if so, this is a fairly normal rotation. But he is the name that has been bantered about most. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, he's probably getting traded. I mean, we've had 2 draft nights, 2 deadlines. They want to get this guy off the roster. So, like when you mentioned when we saw the 3-team trade, I was like, maybe Collins, and no, it's not. It's more seconds. So yeah, definitely expecting to get traded. Tough to break down. Would certainly expect a small lineup. Let's see who they're playing. The Suns. Yeah, they could go small. So I would expect Hunter to start at the 4. Depending on who else is available, maybe they start. I would probably lean AJ Griffin starting. I think they like Bogdan off the bench. Could definitely be Bogdan as well, but it's been pretty high. So I'd probably expect one of those guys to start in a small ball lineup. Certainly don't need the size there.
Okay. Yeah, keep an eye.
They did clear out some guys. They did clear some guys out too. Justin Holiday got traded. A couple other guys. So.
Yeah, they traded Justin Holiday and Frank Kaminsky as well.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit more shorthanded. They got Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando back. Those guys obviously will not be available tonight. But just to note that if they move Collins, things start to get tighter just because that back into the roster, they've traded those guys. So just keep an eye on that situation. Okay, on the Sun side of things, this is another one we're going to be targeting heavily in DFS tonight, simply because they don't have a lot of bodies. Devin Booker was already ruled out. Cam Payne and Landry Shamet are still out. They've traded Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson in this Kevin Durant trade. And so they just traded Dario Saric for Darius Bazley. So they are now down to 9 players available tonight. How do you expect the rotation to shake out within those 9 guys who are left, 3 of which are centers? Bismack Biyombo, Jock Landale, and DeAndre Ayton. So what are you expecting tonight from Phoenix?
How many minutes can Torrey Craig play tonight is the question. We know Booker's going to have a cap, real hard cap. Shot to me, said it was 25
Booker's out.
minutes. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yep. But I'm just so proud of my cap there. So yeah, will be a lot of Damian Lee, probably a little Saban Lee, Chris Paul overlap, a little bit of more Ish Wainwright. I haven't really thought this through yet, but so we're probably looking at a starting lineup of Chris Paul, Damian Lee, Torrey Craig. Did I go Ish Wainwright there? Okogie, yeah.
Okogie or Wainwright.
It could be Okogie or Wainwright, and then Ayton. So yeah, that's pretty thin. Those guys could play a time. We'll definitely be targeting. They may not be done either.
The bench there is Saban Lee in this scenario. Saban Lee, either Ish Wainwright or Okogie, and then Landale and Biyombo. So Landale essentially will have to be a 4 tonight, right? I mean, I guess they could start if they want to start him big. They've started Shards in those spots before, but it's thin, and specifically thin on the wings. So Josh Okogie's just returning back from injury. How many minutes can he really play? Good question, as you allude to. How high can Torrey Craig go? But those guys on the wings, they have to play a lot because there just aren't many options here. It's going to be hard to play like Saban Lee and Chris Paul together. I'm sure they'll do it some because they have to, but they are just lacking wings. So Damian Lee, Josh Okogie, Ish Wainwright, Torrey Craig, those are 4 wings for basically 2 spots that you got to fill 96 minutes. So of that group, how would you rank them in terms of likelihood to secure those minutes?
I mean, they're all pretty high. You said, sorry, there was a trade. I was getting distracted. You said it was Craig.
Stay on point.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Craig Lee, Damian Lee, Ish Wainwright, and Josh Okogie. How would you rank them in terms of likelihood of playing the most minutes?
I would say Lee, Craig, Wainwright would be my top 3.
Okay, Okogie last.
I mean, he's been available. They haven't been playing him, so it's not a matter of
yeah.
So, and they might get traded too. But John Wall's going back to Houston. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. Let's move to the Lakers side of things. The Lakers made a bunch of deals yesterday, acquiring D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. Traded away Thomas Bryant today. Haven't given away a ton of roster depth. They obviously traded away Russell Westbrook. Brody seems very upset with the Lakers move.
Actually, not Brody. I'm dog saying for my brother.
How many dogs are in this family?
Little puppy.
That's a little pup.
Yeah.
Adorable. Trade him.
Maybe let him for 2 seconds. Stop whining.
Trade him. Trade the puppy. So the Lakers, in terms of players that have been moved from their rotation, no Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
And really no Thomas Bryant. And that's it. So they still have kind of all their main guys. They're reintegrating Austin Reeves. They obviously won't have D'Angelo Russell available tonight. We're projecting decent minutes from guys like Patrick Beverley, Rui Hachimura, Troy Brown Jr. What are your thoughts on how the Lakers continue to shape this roster and what things will look like tonight?
Definitely not done. We saw them get more seconds, so definitely to be. This is just like so hard to do. We don't know what these rosters are going to look like tonight, but yeah, I'll add. I think Patrick Beverley's going to almost start regardless. Okay. Patrick Beverley's definitely not going to start regardless because he just got traded.
Okay.
For Mo Bamba.
Good timing.
Trade. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, we're just kind of spinning. This is why I didn't do too much research today. We're just like kind of just figuring it all out here.
Okay,
way
so
to be
Beverley
professional.
will
Way to be
not
professional.
start.
Like Beverley will
So
not
what are
start.
the starters that you would expect here? Schroeder, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis, and
I think Lonnie Walker.
Does Lonnie Walker?
Yeah, I think Lonnie Walker has to be the point of attack guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then they will be relatively shorthanded then. A bench would look like Troy Brown Jr., Austin Reeves on some sort of minutes cap potentially as he's working his way back. Wenyen Gabriel, Juan Toscano Anderson. They still have Max Christie, so they're not super thin. They could play 10 if they wanted to still. But yeah. Okay. Let's move to the Bucks situation. The Bucks have the dreaded Giannis. He's gone. The Bucks have the dreaded Giannis probable tag, right knee soreness. Brook Lopez, the non-COVID illness. JTA got traded. I missed that. Josh
JT is gone. Yeah.
Juan Toscano Anderson got traded as well.
Yeah.
All right. Brook Lopez probable. Giannis Antetokounmpo probable. Bobby Portis still out. They sent away Jordan Nwora and George Hill this afternoon, so they don't have those guys as backup options. Grayson Allen has been rumored to be in trades, but it seems like he's going to be safe from that so far. We'll see if anything changes there. But any notes, any concerns about this Giannis probable tag?
No, it should be pretty good. Just usual concerns. My concerns aren't as high as they were, like I said last time. Should be good, but you never know. So stay alert. Nor going out is nothing has changed for them yet, besides losing all their second round picks, which is the John Horst special. So yeah, national TV game. Should expect him to be out there.
Okay. All right. We've gone through the injury report analysis show. The trade deadline show will be much better because hopefully the news will have slowed down and we can just actually focus on the things that everybody wants to talk about, which is trades. But as always, please support the people who are supporting us here. The show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. They have plenty of NBA daily snake drafts running in addition to many formats of contests for the big game, still running for huge cash prizes. If you're playing NBA Pick'em, in-season subscribers can use our tool to compare ETR projections to their fantasy Pick'em games. If you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use promo code ETR for a matching deposit bonus up to $100. That's promo code ETR at underdogfantasy.com. Stay tuned to this YouTube channel. In 1 hour and 8 minutes, we will go live. Myself, Mike Gallagher, Mark Dankenbring, and Justin Fan from Underdog Fantasy, talking through the deals, giving our opinions on how things are going to shake out, what it means for DFS, season-long, and playoff implications. There's a lot of deals to talk about. We'll get through them all, probably about an hour is my guess. And then 5 o'clock behind the paywall, myself and Mike Gallagher will go to talk through the DFS implications of this 4-game slate. So make sure to join us there. Of course, as always, if you are uninterested in giving us your hard-earned dollars, we do ask for your hard-earned clicks. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, get notifications whenever we go live. And of course, smash that like button to help distribute our content through that algorithm. As we always say, if you distribute the content through the algorithm, we can help distribute your clicks to our families, and we will help distribute the injury information analysis that you need to make your DFS lineups each and every day. We'll be back in about an hour. We'll see you then. Take care.